today our focus is to discuss on the final assessment format. Okay, the final assessment format. So in order to make our discussion more easy, I already prepared the PowerPoint slide. You can refer the PowerPoint slide from the announcement of the Canvas. All right. So for those who want to access the document, what can you do is, okay, let me share the screen now. Okay, let's go to Canvas now. Okay, what can you do is you can go to our Canvas site, the introductory mathematics Canvas site. And this one. Okay, then you can go to announcements. Okay, open this announcement, and there is one attachment file. Okay, so you can open this file for your own reference if you want. All right. So this is the one. So can all of you get the document from the Canvas? Okay, yeah. Later on, I'm going to save a copy also under the module. Okay, under the modules in week 8. Okay. All right. So this online final assessment will be the final, the final assessment for this subject. Okay. And the date of this assessment now will be, it's already been scheduled, okay, by the exam unit, which shall be conducted on the 8th of December 2021, which is Wednesday. Okay, 8th of December, Wednesday, and it's in the afternoon. Okay, 1 p.m. is going to start, and the duration of the assessment is 2 hours. Okay, or equivalent to 120 minutes. 2 hours. Okay, so we are going to start at 1 p.m. and finish at 3 p.m. Malaysian time, Malaysian time. But because, okay, some of you may have technical issue, so I also try to extend the online assessment until 3:30, okay, 3:30 p.m. So that means that if you start at, let's say, 1:10, okay, if you start at 1:10, that will be this, okay, 1:10 p.m. So that means you can finish. Okay, so you still can finish by 3:10 p.m. on the same day. Okay, so that means you still can enjoy the full 2 hours of the online assessment if you start at 1:10 p.m. Okay, so the system will allow you to complete until 3:10 p.m. Okay, so try your best to start the assessment as early as possible at 1 o'clock sharp. Okay, let's say if you start at some students may be late. Okay, may start at, let's say, 2 o'clock. Okay, only manage to start at 2 o'clock. Then what happened? You start at 2 o'clock. Okay, the system will allow you to start at 2. All right, but will stop you to attempt the assessment until 3:30 p.m. So that means you can only have 1 hour 30 minutes for attending the assessment if you start at 2 o'clock. Okay, the system just stop you at 3:30. So this is how the system will control the time for you to attempt the assessment. Okay. So far, any question on the date and also the time? So far, so good. So remember, for the international student, we only have one international student who is, I think, is Rola. So please ensure that you follow the Malaysian time. Okay. But anyway, I think a day before the final assessment, I'm also going to post one announcement, okay, to remind you about this online assessment. Probably Tuesday, I'll post one more announcement.
Sir.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, it said the instruction, the test is only 60 minutes. Sir.
Okay, let me see. I think I haven't, yeah, the instruction. Okay, it should be 120 minutes. Okay, probably I haven't changed. Okay, thank you. I'll change. I'll change now. Okay, change now. All right. Thank you for informing. Okay. So it's 2 hours. All right. It's 120 minutes. All right. So in the online assessment, you are going to see these instructions on the Canvas side. Okay. So please ensure that you have to get ready at least a calculator. Okay. Make sure that it's working in order to attend the assessment questions. Assessment questions. Okay. And so this assessment is worth 50% of your overall marks in this entire semester. So it's very important. The weighting is very high, 50%. Your online test 1 is 20%. Online test 2, 20%. Project, 10%. Your final assessment is 50%, so it's very important. Okay, a very high weighting. And this assessment paper, this assessment for the final assessment paper, this is the final assessment. Consists of 40 marks. Okay, 40 marks, and consists of 40 multiple choice questions. So that means one multiple choice question worth 1 mark. One question, 1 mark. Okay. 40 multiple choice questions. So that means for each question there will be 4 options for you to choose. So you have to choose the best answer. Okay. So all 4 options will be given to you to choose the best answer. Okay. So during the assessment period, okay, if you found that you want to change your answer, okay, let's say you already answer question number 5, okay, and then if you want to change the answer again, are you able to go back? Yes, you can. You still can go back. Okay. So what can you do is you can just go to the previous button. You can press on the previous button, which will be at the bottom of the screen. Okay. You can press the previous button in order to go back to question 5. Let's say maybe you had completed 40 questions, but you change your mind. Okay, question 5, you feel that the answer should be C instead of A, and then you can still go back, okay, to attempt question 5 after you have completed all of the 40 questions, right? So you can use the previous button to help you, in order to check your answer again before you submit. Okay. And okay, so after you already satisfied or happy with all of the answer provided for all the 40 questions, then what you can do is, remember, you need to submit the quiz. Okay, you have to submit the quiz by clicking on the submit quiz button. Okay, make sure, remember, you have to click on this submit quiz button in order to submit your final assessment online through the Canvas. Okay. So any question related to the instruction? So this instruction, I'm going to make this available also before the final assessment. Okay. I will let you see the link. Okay. I'll make the final assessment link on Canvas available also. A day before the final assessment, so that you can read the instruction before 8th of December 2021. Okay, I stop for a while. Any questions related to instructions? So far, okay, clear the instructions. So the system is going to auto convert to 50%. Okay, let's say you get your marks is 30. Okay, 30 over 40. Then the system will auto convert 30 over 40 marks into 50% in the system. Okay. But anyway, because this is your final assessment, so you are not able to assess your score. Okay, after you attempt your final assessment, you are not able to assess the score from the system. You're not be given the marks. Okay, you're not known until the we call as the your final result mark is released by the exam unit at Swinburne. Okay, not me. The final assessment mark I cannot release. Okay. Can only be released by the final, we call as the exam unit. Okay. But I will release the marks for your online test 1, test 2, and also your project. Except your final exam, the unit convener cannot cannot make the marks accessible for the students to view. Okay. So far so good. Okay. About the instructions. Any questions? Okay, yeah. All right, then what are the chapters will be covered in the final assessment? So there will be all chapters will be covered. Okay, all of the chapters will be covered in this final assessment, which include the statistics such as the data analysis and also by using some of the functions from the Excel, right, to draw the diagrams and also doing some basic descriptive measurement calculation. Okay, so this chapter make sure that you know, and also we have this group data and also ungroup data calculation. Make sure that you know how to do all this and also know the difference and know how to elaborate the value of all these measurements. Okay, then second chapter is about probability. So you must know the differences of probability events, okay, whether they are mutually exclusive, independent, dependent events. All these you must know how to solve the problems. Right? Then chapter 3 is on the arithmetic algebraic modeling. Later on, I'm going to go through in more detail. Okay, what are the things that you should know in order to prepare for the chapter 3 for your final exam. Okay, followed by the graphical analysis, financial mathematics, and metrics. Okay, so all of the chapters will be covered in your final assessment. So that means all of the lecture notes are available on the Canvas. You have to go through again one more time, okay, in order to help you to do the revision. Okay, so how are you going to attempt the assessment, the final assessment? So the location of the final assessment will be under module, okay, under modules. Then I'll put under week 9, okay, I'll put under week 9 with the module like online final assessment will be available. So that means it should be here. Okay, how to attempt. So it's the same as what you did for your online test 1. Okay, just like what you did for your online test 1. So online test 1 is under week 6, right? So online test 2 will be under week 9. Okay, and then that means the final assessment will be under module week 10. I'll put somewhere here. Okay, test 2 and then followed by the final assessment should be somewhere here. Okay, so on the 8th of December, you need to go visit the FCE10020 Canvas site, then go to modules, okay, then go to week 10, and then click on the module for final assessment. It should be somewhere here. Okay, so now it's still not accessible. I'll make it available probably a week before the final assessment date. Okay, it should be beginning of December. So this is about the location. Okay, so what happened? Okay, during the final assessment date, okay, if you have problem, technical issue to attempt the final assessment, what you can do is you can contact me. Okay, I'll get ready in the Microsoft Teams, okay, via the online classes link that we always use, okay, which is this link, our meeting link. Okay, in the standby mode. So if you got any problem to attempt the final assessment, then you can contact me through Microsoft Teams. Okay, otherwise you can just email me. This is my email address on that day. I'll be on the standby mode. Okay, so far any question related to final assessment, the coverage, how to attempt the assessment?
Sir,
yes.
I want to ask do we have like subjective questions for final assessment, like
No.
paper 2 or something?
No, all of the 40 questions are multiple choice questions, just like what you did for your online test 1. Okay, so in final assessment, there are 40 questions. Okay, and all of the 40 questions are multiple choice questions. Each question consists of 4 options for you to choose the best answer. There is no subjective question. There is no essay question. Okay, and you do not need to show any workings also in order to get full mark during the online assessment. Workings are not required at all. Okay. So am I answering your question?
Yep.
Can I? Okay, all right, thanks.
Yep, thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Any other questions? So in short, the online assessment, the final assessment is like combination of your online test 1 and test 2 question altogether becomes 40 questions, 20 plus 20, 40 questions, 2 hours.
Sir, because in the Canvas, there's a section called the take-home exam, and it is
Oh, yeah,
like,
take-home exam. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Take-home exam is only for another semester. It's not for your batch. Okay. So for your October semester, for October semester, we're using project to replace the take-home exam. Take-home exam is only applicable for another semester of student for this August intake. So for October intake, we use a project. Okay. We use project instead of take-home exam. So October intake has no take-home exam, Are you able to view you're able to view the link of the take-home exam,
Yeah, I can even see the questions in it.
Oh, you can see the questions.
Yeah.
But how about instructions?
Yeah. The whole thing is there. The whole thing is there. It's under syllabus.
Okay, I probably need to hide lah. I need to hide that take-home exam. Yeah, it's not applicable for yours for this semester. This semester, we're using project. In fact, you are the first batch of student attend the project. Your first batch. Okay, yeah. So if the response is good, then I'm going to introduce this project to other lecturers who are teaching the same subject in future. Okay, maybe they are going to use this project to replace the take-home exam. Okay. So any other questions besides the take-home exam component? So it's not included in your October intake. Okay. Any other questions on the final assessment? Okay, the name of the assessment is called as online final assessment. Online final assessment, 50% weighting. Any other questions that you would like to ask? Okay, if you got any problems, you can still email me from time to time. If you got any problem regarding this online assessment, you still can email me, okay? Or you can it's not WhatsApp me. You can just communicate with me through the Microsoft Teams. Okay. All right. So okay, I have prepared a few summary slides, okay, for all of the chapters, right? So what do you need to focus for your final assessment? Okay, so in chapter 1, you must know the difference between the qualitative data and quantitative data. So this slide is important for you, all right? Then under quantitative data, there are 2 types of data under quantitative, right? Which are discrete and continuous. So make sure that you know, okay, which data are categorized under discrete, which one are under the continuous, which are under the quantitative data. So you must know all this, do revision again, okay? Then you must also know how to use formula to calculate the descriptive measurements for ungrouped data, which involve mean, mode, median, first quartile, third quartile, variance, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, coefficient of skewness. Okay, so you must know how to use those formulas for ungrouped data. Similarly, also for group data, make sure that you know the formula that you have to use to calculate the mean, mode, median. So for mean, let's say mean, if you want to use the group data, the mean value should have, you must get ready the total F and also the total Fx value. Okay, you need these two columns. You can build a table. Okay, the first table can be the midpoint table, the midpoint column followed by the frequency column, and then followed by the Fx column, and then Fx square column. Okay, you need to get ready all these columns in order to calculate the mean value for group data. Okay. Then mod, okay, mod, that means right, you have to identify the which one is the mod class first. The first step is, if you want to solve the problem for mod by using the group data, make sure that, okay, the first step is you must identify which class is the mod class. First step. Okay, which class is the mod class? Then use this formula, okay, to calculate the mod value. Okay. What is the reason we need to identify the mod class first? Because this symbol L mod means is the lower boundary of the mod class. Lower boundary of the mod class. Then C is the class size of the mod class. So make sure that, okay, you know how to identify the mod class before you get the mod value. Okay. So for median, also the same. Median, make sure that, okay, the data given, the data that you have are in the interval form with the boundary format, boundary form. That means there is no gap between two classes. Make sure, all right? Then the next step is to identify the location of median using this formula. So bear in mind, for the group data, it's using total F divided by 2. It's not total F plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, not plus 1 for group data. For ungroup data, yes, it's plus 1. But for ungroup data, is total F divided by 2. Okay, so once you identify the location of median, then you can start to use this formula to calculate the value of median. Okay, value of median. So this LM means the lower boundary of the median class, and C is the class size of the median class. So similarly for first quartile and third quartile, also the same. So make sure that you use the correct formula to identify the location, then followed by using the formula to calculate the value respectively. Okay, let's stop for a while. Any question on this? So far, okay, So far, so good, Okay. So sometimes besides using formula, sometimes the question may give you an ogive curve, okay, an ogive curve, and then ask you to identify the median or Q1 or Q3. Maybe sometime, sometime you may need to calculate or identify the median, Q1 or Q3 value by using ogive curve. Okay. And besides that, you must also understand, you have to understand how to make the conclusion, okay, on the value obtained of each descriptive measurement. Okay, so you can refer to here. Okay, then how about standard deviation? Standard deviation, okay, that means you need to get ready another column, which is the total Fx square column, Fx square column, which is this one, okay, Fx square. So that you can substitute the number in. So bear in mind, the variance and standard deviation always positive. Make sure that you check your answer, always positive. Okay, so for the formula, you may find that is using 1 divided by total F minus 1. Total F minus 1. Why minus 1 is because the data given will be from sample, but not from the population. That's why we use minus 1 here. Okay, minus 1 is because the data are collected from sample. Okay, in the final exam, the data are collected from sample. So we have to use minus 1 formula. Okay. Then the next measurement will be the coefficient of deviation. Coefficient of deviation actually is used to compare two sets of data in terms of the, we call it the dispersion of the data. Dispersion means the deviation of the data, okay, whether deviate a lot or not, whether have a lot of differences between two sets of data. Okay, so the higher the CV, the higher the deviation of that set of data. Yeah, if let's say, okay, let's say set A has higher CV, so that means set A data is more dispersed. Okay, set A data is more dispersed if it has a higher CV. Okay? So usually the CV is in percentage. It's in percentage symbol. Okay, So the opposite of dispersion means consistent. Opposite of dispersion, that means consistent. So make sure that you understand this part, CV. And then lastly is the skewness. Skewness, there are two formulas that you can use to calculate the skewness value. So either using this or this, depends on the question information given from the question. So if the SKP is 0, that means the data distribution is symmetrical. Okay. If SKP greater than 0, that means the data distribution is skewed to the right or positively skewed. If the SKP is negative number, then the data distribution is skewed to the left or negatively skewed. Okay. So I believe should be okay for you. Since you are doing your project 2 now, I believe you are okay with all these formula and concept. Right? Then for probability, okay, probability, make sure that you know how to calculate the probability value using the relative frequency rule. Okay. So PA is equal to NA divided by NS. NS means the element from the whole sample. Okay. NA means the element from event A. So one way for you to check the answer is the probability value must always be between 0 to 1. Cannot be negative number, cannot greater than 1. Okay. If probability A is equal to 0.7, that means 70% event A is going to happen. Okay. So make sure that your probability A is within this range of number. It can be equal to 0, it can be equal to 1, but cannot outside than this range. So far so good, all right. Then complement rule, so that means probability A plus probability non-A always equal to 1. So you can transpose this formula if you want to calculate the probability of non-A event. So you can use this formula, transpose the formula. Okay. So what you can do is you can move probability event A to the right hand side, becomes minus this variable. Then you can get the probability of non-A by applying the complement rule. Okay, then how about union rule? Union rule means yield. Yield all. In statistics, union means all. Okay, so what is the formula to calculate A union B? Answer is A plus B minus A intersect B. So no matter whether the event A and B are mutually exclusive, independent or dependent, the probability of A union B is always equal to this formula. Okay, always equal to this formula. No matter whether A and B are independent, dependent, or mutually exclusive. Okay. All right. So for mutually exclusive, if A and B are mutually exclusive, that means A and B cannot happen at the same time. Okay. If A and B cannot happen at the same time, that means A and B are mutually exclusive events. If that is the case, A intersect B probability value is equal to 0. Okay. If that's the case, that means if you want to calculate A union B, okay, given that if A and B are mutually exclusive, so that means that this part will be equal to 0. Okay, this part is equal to 0. So that means for mutually exclusive events, probability A union B is equal to probability A plus probability B only, because this part is equal to 0 for mutually exclusive event question. Okay. Then how about independent event? So one way for you to check the independent events. Independent events means the chance of one event is not depends or is not going to affect another events to happen. Chance of event A happen or not affect chance of event B happen and vice versa. And then we can conclude A and B are independent events. Okay, both events are not going to affect each other. Okay, if that is the case, then probability A intersect B is equal to probability A multiply probability B. Okay, so this formula is only applicable when A and B are independent. Okay, and besides that, okay, if A and B are independent, that means that probability A, given that B already happened, is equal to probability A. Okay, even though we know B already happened, but the answer is still equal to probability A because A is not affected by B. Okay. Okay, next. How about probability B given A already happened? Answer is still equal to probability B, if A and B are independent events. Okay, lastly, dependent events. For dependent events, that means event A is going to affect the chance of event B happen, and event B also going to affect the chance of A happen as well. A and B are going to affect each other, and then we call this as dependent events. So if there's a case, how is the formula to calculate probability A given B? So answer will be equal to probability A intersect B divided by probability B. Okay, it's based on B lah, right? Based on B. If B is at the back, that means you have to put a denominator here, which is equal to probability of B. Okay. So similarly also, if you want to calculate probability B given A happen, if A and B are dependent event, so the result will be equal to probability B intersect A divided by probability A, because it's based on A now. Okay, depends on A. So bear in mind, A intersect B is equal to B intersect A, same meaning. Okay, but A given B is not always equal to B given A. So this part you need to remember, right? Another one is you can also try to transpose the formula. Okay, for the dependent event question. So let's say now you want to calculate the probability A intersect B. You can transpose the formula. What you can do is you can just bring this probability B to the left-hand side, becomes multiply with the probability A given B, in order to get A intersect B. Okay. So similarly for this question also, you can just transpose the formula. Okay. So this is about chapter 2. Okay, chapter 3, actually there are quite a number of things that you need to know, and most of the things we already study in your either from 3, from 4, from 5, right? So it's just like a revision for you. Okay, so these are the main subtopics that you need to know under chapter 3. Okay, so you must know how to round the number into decimal points and also the significant figures. You must also know how to convert fraction, percentage, and decimal numbers. Okay. You must also know how to calculate the percentage increase, percentage decrease. Okay. The formula to calculate the percentage increase, you must know also. So let's say if you're asked to calculate the percentage price increase, then the formula should be using the new price minus old price divided by old price, multiply 100%. New minus all divided by all, multiply 100%, then you can get the percentage increase or percentage decrease. Okay, new minus all divided by all. Okay. Okay. Next section is involve the algebra expressions. So you must know how to use the we call as the exponential rule. Okay, in order to later on I'm going to cover to simplify the expressions of algebra. Okay, and also you must know how to expand and also simplify by removing the brackets, okay, of the algebra expression as well. Then section 6 is about the linear equation. Linear equation means the highest power number of an unknown variable is only 1. Okay, the unknown variable has the highest power number of 1, and then that is the linear equation. Okay. If power 2, that means it's the quadratic equation. Okay, then the next one will be equation that have power. Power, that means index number. Okay, if the equation have power number, that means you need to use the logarithm to solve the problem. Logarithm. So I'm going to show you the formula later on. Okay, so let us try to see. Okay, what are the slides that you need to know, which are important for you. Okay, I think this slides decimal numbers should be okay for you. Okay, but for the significant figures, okay, so these are the numbers that you should include, okay, when you want to count the significant figures, and these are the non-significant figures. So what are the significant figures that should be included? All of the non-zero digits, all non-zero digits, that means non-zero, that means it can start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 9, all right? All these non-zero numbers should be included as significant figures. And also 0 in between, non-zero digit, just like this one, 901, 3.04. Okay, because this 0 have numbers aside, some non-zero numbers aside, and then should be included as significant figures as well. Okay. Besides that, also include the trailing zeros. Trailing zero means the 0 to the right of the last non-zero digit in a number with decimal point like this. 50.0, let's say 50.0. Then this one should be considered as 3 significant figures. Okay, 3 significant figures. And also like this number. Okay. This is the decimal number, okay? But the significant figure should be counted, start from here, from this digit, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 significant figure, yeah? So this 0 actually is referred to the trailing 0, right? It should be included, okay? This 0 should be included. This is considered as the trailing 0, okay? So for this question, there will be 5 significant figures. Okay. Then what are the 0 that should not be included? Right? That should not be included as a significant figure. There will be the leading zeros. Okay. The 0 to the left of the first non-zero digit. For instance, this one. 0023. So we should only count these 2 digits as the significant figures. The 0 on the left should not be included. Similarly for this as well. Okay, the 0 to the left hand side of the first non-zero digit should not be included in the significant figure calculation. Okay, the last one, I'm very tricky this part. This is the trailing 0, 0 to the right of the last non-zero digit in a number without decimal point, like this, 50. Okay, after 0, there is no decimal point. After 0, no decimal point. So that means if there is a case, this 0 should not be included as the significant figure. So we only count this 5 only. Okay, because after this 0, there is no decimal point. So that means for this question, only one significant figure, which is 5. Okay, so for this also the same. We have 75,000. After this 0, there is no decimal point. So that means for this number, there is only 2 significant figure. Okay, so now the student may ask, okay, you may ask me, how about if the question now is like this? Point. Let's say we put like this. Okay, let's say this is the question given. If that's the case, okay, if you see point here are very critical now because of this point. Okay, so it will make the scenario different now. Because of this point here, if this is a point here, so that means that the 0 on the right hand side after this point should be included. Okay, so that means in this case here, now it's different already. The significant figure will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a significant figure already. Okay, so now if I go back to here, let's say no point now, like this. If that's the case, then the answer is 2 significant figure. Okay. So can you see the difference between this and this? Okay. This and this one. So quite tricky, this part. This one and this is comparing. Okay. So in the test or maybe final exam, or test you again on this concept. So yeah, get ready. Okay. Make sure that you can understand, differentiate this trailing 0 and this trailing 0. Different. Okay. Okay. So in order to simplify the algebra expression, what can you do is you have to apply the law of exponents. Okay, law of exponents. So if the equation involves the multiplication and division activity and the base number are the same, okay, if the base number are the same, then you can combine the index number. Okay, if the base number are the same, you combine the index number. All right. So if the base number involves multiplication activity, then when you combine, the index number becomes, you have to use the summation operation. Okay, to combine these two index number if the base number are the same and involve multiplication activity. Okay, so this is rule number one. Exponential rule number one. Expansion rule number two is when the same base number involving division activity, then we can also combine the index number becomes subtract. Okay, using the numerator index number minus with the denominator index number. Okay, and then the third rule is okay, if a power x and then bracket power y. Okay, so if you want to simplify this, removing these brackets, you can use rule number three. Okay, so bear in mind for this question, right, you may find that there is only one base number, a only, right? A. So in order to remove the brackets, what you can do is you can apply the rule number three by multiplying the two index number becomes x multiplied y. Okay. Okay, how about rule number four? This one. A, B, and then power x. So in this case now there are two base numbers, all right? And there is one power number outside. So that means this power number actually is shared by A and also B. So if you want to remove the brackets, you can. So you can remove the brackets by bringing in the power x to both A and B. Okay. Then how about this one? This one is A divided by B, then power x. So that means that this x is shared by A and also B. So if you want to remove the brackets, yes, can. Okay, you can just put A power x divided by B power x. How about this one? The power number now is negative number. So how to make this power number becomes positive? It's easy only. What you can do is you can just change the sequence of the A and B. Okay, so now if you want to make the power number becomes positive, what you can do is you can just swap the numerator and denominator position. Numerator and denominator position swap so that the power number can be changed to positive symbol. Okay, so once the power number is in the positive symbol, you can apply rule number 5 in order to remove the brackets. Okay, using rule number 5 to remove the brackets. So it becomes b power x divided by a power x. I stop for a while. Any question on logarithm? We call it the exponential rule. Okay, before we go for logarithm rule. So far, okay, Okay, all right. Okay, if the unknown variable is a power number, like for instance x. Okay, if you ask to calculate the x value and then the x is a power number. Okay, so if a power number, that means usually we have to use the logarithm rule to solve the problem. Okay, so what can you do is you can just put log at both sides. Actually, it's a long story. It's another story. Okay, if a power x is equal to b, so if you want to solve the x value, so what can you do is you can put log at both sides. Okay, the first step. Some more story in between these two. Okay. Okay, I just add one information here. So if you want to solve the problem, you can just put log at both sides. G a power x equal to log. You can leave a space. You in between log and the base number. Okay. Okay, so we put log for both sides first step. Okay, so what is the reason we want to put log at both sides? Because if we put log at both sides, then the power number can be brought down as a base number now. Okay, once you put log at both sides, then this x, the power number, you can bring it down. Okay, becomes x multiply with log a to log B. Okay. So now this power number, the x, can be brought down as the base number now. Okay. So once the x is the base number, you can bring log A together. Log A can be brought to the right hand side, become divided by log A. Okay. So there are few steps involved. There are few steps before you jump from here to here. In fact, right? So you have not really, still not really familiar of log. What you can do is you can just add the steps. Okay, you can add these two steps before you get this answer. Okay. So any question related to log? So far okay? So far so good? So far okay, all right. This one I delete first, Okay, then the next one will be, okay, if the equation is involved plus and minus activities, if the question involves plus and minus activities, and the question asking you to simplify the algebraic expressions, okay, that involve plus and minus activities, then what you can do is you can apply the like terms rule. So that means is apple plus apple, orange plus apple, orange plus orange rule. We have to group. Okay, we can group the terms. Okay, based on the variable category. Okay, so in this case here, we can sum up A in one group. Okay, B in one group, C in one group, just like apple with apple, orange with orange, and lemon with lemon. Okay, or banana with banana. That's the meaning. All right. So in this case here, we have 5a minus 2b plus 4c plus 7 minus 3a plus 7b minus 6c plus 4. So you can see there are so many terms here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 terms altogether. Okay, 8 terms. And among these 8 terms, this 5a and this minus 3a has similar variable. Okay, similar term. So we call these two terms have similar term or like term. So these two terms we can sum out by either using the summation or subtraction activity, plus or minus these two like terms altogether. Okay, these two terms you can combine. So 5 apples minus 3 apples, answer is 2 apples, put here. Okay. Then this one got B, this one got B, banana, all right? So we have minus 2 banana plus 7 bananas. So combine it becomes 5 bananas. Okay. Then C is coconut, right? Coconut C. So we have 4 coconuts minus 6 coconuts. Answer is minus 2 coconuts. Okay. And how about these two terms? These two terms are numbers, without any unknown variable. So these two should be grouped in the same category. So 7 plus 4 is equal to 11. So bear in mind, for this question, we do not use the law of exponents. Okay, we only apply the law of exponents when involve multiplication or division activity. But for this question, it's involve plus and minus activity. So we have to use the like term concept. Okay, apple plus apple, orange plus orange. So far, okay, I stop for a while. Compare these two. This one is involved multiplication or division activity of the base number. This one is involved plus and minus activity of different terms, okay, different like terms. Okay, last one is this one. What happens if the like terms involve fractional algebra or fractional expressions, just like this? Let's say we have this a divided by b plus a over 2b plus, you see there are two terms in this case. This is the first term, this is the second term, two terms. All right. So for this question, the problem now is the denominator for the first term is b, the second denominator is 2b. So these two terms have different denominator. So at the moment, we cannot combine. We cannot combine these two terms together. Why? The problem is both terms have different denominator. Okay, the first term has denominator of b, yeah, and then the second term has denominator of 2b, so different, yeah. So the first step is that we need to identify, okay, how to make these two terms with similar denominator, similar mother. Okay, denominator means mother in this grade, the mother, all right, must be similar. Otherwise, cannot combine the children. Numerator is the children. Yeah. So what can I do is the fastest way is what can we do is we can just multiply 2. Okay, we can use 2 multiply 2. Okay, for the numerator and also the denominator for first term. Okay, in order to make the denominator of the first term equals to 2b lah, right? So multiply 2 over 2. Okay. So for the numerator we multiply 2. Denominator also have to multiply 2, right? So we may find that okay, the first term now is 2a divided by 2b. Okay. This is 2b. First term 2b. Second term 2b denominator. Okay. So once the denominator for both terms are similar already, then we can combine the children. Okay, we can combine the children, becomes 2a plus a. 2a plus a. Okay, because these two terms, the numerator, have similar variable, right? Similar terms. So we can apply this concept. Apply this apple plus apple concept. So 2 apples plus 1 apple, 3 apples. Okay. So numerator is 3a. Denominator is 2b. Yeah. Okay. Are we able to simplify again? Answer is not lah, because this numerator has a variable of a, and the denominator has the variable of b. Yeah, a and b. That means we cannot use the exponential or formula or the rule in order to simplify the a and b lah. So this is the final answer. All right. And 3 divided by 2. This is also the we call it the simplest fraction number. Okay, so just leave the answer until here. Done. Okay. So make sure that you know how to simplify the fractional terms if involve plus and minus activities. Okay. So all these are related to algebra. Yeah. So make sure that you are okay with all these formula. Let's stop for a while. Okay. Any questions on algebra? Okay. All right. The next one. So this one is important for your test 2. Test 2, your online test 2 on Monday coming week. Okay. So next one is linear equation. Okay. So the next chapter is linear equation. Linear means straight line. Okay. Linear means straight line. So there is a standard format of the straight line equation. Okay. The format is called as y equals mx plus c. And this is the standard format of a linear equation, a straight line equation. Okay. So in order to form the straight line equation, you must know how to get the gradient value, which is the m. Okay. M means the gradient on the slope. So what is the formula? Formula is using y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2. Okay. So these values are from the coordinates of the point that pass through by a straight line. So you must know how to get the two coordinates value before we can get the m. Okay. Because the m is using the formula of y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2. So you must know 2 points that pass through by the straight line in order to get m. Okay, so the m can be positive, can be negative number. If the m value is positive, that means the straight line is outward sloping, just like this. Okay, it's outward sloping. So for this equation, the m value is positive 0.5. Okay, positive 0.5. And for this blue line, the straight line, okay, the m is negative 1. That's why it's downward sloping. So once you get the m value, then the next step is to get the c. C means the intercept. Okay, c is the point whereby the straight line will pass through the y-axis. So it's the C value. So for this rate equation, the C is equal to 2. Okay, when this line pass through the y-axis at y equals to 2. How about this blue line? For this blue line, the C is equal to 5. Okay, the C is equal to 5. That is when y is equal to 5 at the y-axis. So make sure that you get the M and C in order to form the linear equation. Okay, so this slide should be useful for you to do revision. Okay, then the next section for chapter 4 is about the break-even analysis. Break-even analysis. So what is the meaning of break-even? At the break-even, the total revenue or income is always equal to the total expenses or cost. Okay, total revenue is equal to total expenses at the break-even point. So that means I is equal to C. So that means whatever we receive, okay, is equal to whatever we spend in running a business. Okay. So usually you'll be asked to calculate then what is the number of production that must be produced or sold out in order to get break-even. What is the number or the quantity of products that must be sold out in order to get break-even? Okay, so this is the formula that you can apply. At the break-even point, I is equal to C. So how to get the I value? I is equal to the selling price per unit multiplied quantity sold. So usually the quantity sold is not given, but the selling price is given. Okay, so you try to form the income equation first. Okay, selling price per unit multiplied quantity sold. So N usually is unknown. So what you can do is, I think there is one example from the question that you can also refer to the tutorial again. Our lecture slide also got some other question is asking you to identify the break-even point. Okay, how many quantity have to be sold out in order to get break-even. So that question is very important. That will be covered in your test 2 and also your final exam. So make sure that you go to that question again and check. Okay, so get the I. Okay, C, how about the cost? Okay, when running the business, generally there are two costs, which are variable cost and also the fixed cost. So the variable cost is the variable cost per unit multiply the quantity sold. So N usually is unknown, right? Then plus the fixed cost. Okay, fixed cost is a huge amount of number whereby the fixed cost already occur before operating the business. The fixed cost already happened, such as rental you need to pay, even though you haven't produced any product. Okay, so maybe we can go through one question. Is applying the break-even. Okay, because it's important for your test too. So let me try to open the PowerPoint slide. Okay, I go to here. Okay, I leave from the student view. Why is under the week 5 second lecture here, the chapter 4 break-even analysis. It should be the last few examples. This example, okay, but now you're asked to calculate by using equation. Okay, so let us do one more time. All right, so this question example 5. So on company, okay, manufactures widgets that is sells for 270 each. So that means this is the selling price per unit. Okay, selling price per unit. Okay, so once you know the selling price per unit, then you should be able to form the equation for income. The income equation is equal to 270 multiplied N. Okay, so you can use N or X, okay, to represent the quantity sold. So this is the equation that you can form for income. Okay, 270 multiplied n. If you don't want to use n, you can use x also. Yeah? You can use x to represent the quantity sold. Okay, then the next sentence, the cost to manufacture each wager is 160, and the company has weekly overheads of 3,300. Okay, so that means that the variable cost per unit to manufacture the product is 160. So this is the variable cost per unit. And then the fixed cost is 3,300. Then what is the total cost equation that you can form? So once you know the variable cost per unit and also the fixed cost, then you can form the we call it as the cost equation or expenses equation, right? So it's equal to C is equal to 160 multiplied n. Okay, you have to remember to multiply with n because 160 is the variable cost per unit. Okay, and then plus the fixed cost 3,300. Okay, so make sure that you know how to form the cost or the expenses equation. Okay, then the next step is, okay, the next question I would like to jump to here. Okay, you're asked to calculate the break-even point value. So that means what is the quantity number sold that had to be met in order to get break-even. That means there is no profit and no loss, right? So as we know, at the break-even, income is equal to the cost. Okay, so what we can do is we can just copy these two formula. Income is equal to the cost. I think I already shown you the sample somewhere here. Okay, this one. So we know that income is equal to cost. So income, what is the equation that we already found? Income is 270n, right? The cost is the total variable cost plus the fixed cost. Okay, okay. You may find that this term has n, this term also has n. So these two n should be combined together. Okay, so what can you do is we have to move 160n to the left hand side, becomes minus. Okay, minus. So 270n minus 160n is equal to 110n. Okay, then lastly move 110 to the right so that n can be a subject on the left hand side. Okay, so simplify, I get 30. So that means in order to get break even, the company must at least sell 30 units of the product in order to get break even. Not only manufacturer, must at least sell 30 units, okay, of this product in order to get break even. Okay, some students may ask, how about 29.5? 29.5 is still making a loss. 29.5 is still making a loss. Have to sell at least 30. Okay, in order to get break even. So that means the first unit that can get the profit is unit 31. Okay, in order to get the profit, at least have to produce 31. If just get even, break even only, so it's 30. Okay, break even means no profit and no loss. Okay, any questions related to chapter 4, the linear equation and also the break-even analysis, linear equation formation and also the break-even analysis? Okay, chapter 4. Okay, stop for a while. So far so good, Okay, okay, then chapter number 5. Chapter number 5, I think there are two parts on the financial mathematics. So the first part is you must know how to calculate the commission value, okay, based on the total sales. The commission is using the total sales multiplied with the commission rate. Right. So bear in mind, besides commission, a salesperson also can get some fixed salary. It's called as, sometimes can be monthly or weekly salary, right? So commission is only part of the income that can be received by a salesperson. So you have to read the question properly. Right. But anyway, the commission value is using the total sales multiplied with the commission rate. So sometimes you may ask to calculate the commission rate only. So what you can do is you can just transpose the formula. Okay, transpose this formula, formula number 1. Okay. Then trade discount. A trade discount is given by the wholesaler to the retailer. Trade discount, okay, is the discount given by wholesaler to retailer in order to encourage retailer to purchase more quantity of products. Okay, so this trade discount is based on the list price. Okay? Based on the list price. So sometimes you may also ask to calculate the discount rate. What you can do is you can just transpose the formula, make the discount rate as the subject. Okay. Okay. Then net price. Net price is also considered as the cost price that have to be paid by the retailer. Retailer. This is the cost price that need to be paid by retailer to wholesaler. So how to calculate the value of cost price? Answer is list price minus the trade discount. Okay. So what happens if there are more than 2 trade discounts? Then I suggest you, if more than 1 trade discount, then this is called as the chain discount. Then it's better to use this formula directly, get the net price. Okay, using this formula directly. If involve more than 1 trade discount. Okay, so what you can do is you can use the list price, multiply with 1 minus first discount rate, and then multiply with 1 minus second discount rate. If another discount again, then we can multiply 1 minus third discount rate. Okay. Okay, so usually, after purchasing the product from wholesaler, the retailer also want to get profit before selling the product to the end customer. Retailer also want to get profit. So this profit is called as margin or markup. Okay, margin or markup means the profit. Okay, so the formula is equal to cost price that paid by the retailer. Then multiply with the markup rate that's suggested by the retailer or wished by the retailer. So that means the markup is based on the cost price. Okay, markup is based on the cost price. Okay, so when selling the products to end customer, retailer sometimes may also provide some discount, and this is called as cash discount. So this is the discount given by retailer to the end customer or end user. Okay? So the formula is using the markup price multiplied with the discount rate. Okay, and if you're asked to calculate the profit or loss of the retailer, then you can use the selling price minus the cost price. Okay, and percentage profit, you use the selling price minus the cost price divided by cost price multiplied 100%. Okay, so if the figure is negative number, so that means is percentage loss is a loss. Okay, if the figure is positive, that means is making a profit. Okay, so this formula, make sure that you know how to use. Depends on the question also. Then you have to choose the correct formula. You read the question first. All right. Then after that, you have to identify which variable does the question want. Then you have to suggest, or you have to determine, okay, which formula should be used in order to solve the problem. Okay. So the question, can be asked in different way. So you have to read the case carefully. Okay. Then second part of the financial mathematics is on the interest calculation for either loan or on investment. Okay, investment in bank or on loan from bank. So far we already learned 2 types of interest calculation. The first one is the simple interest, and the second one is the compound interest. So simple interest calculation is only based on the original principle. Okay, original principle only. The accumulated interest from time to time are not going to help to generate the interest in future. And this is simple interest. Okay, simple interest is only based on principle. Okay, so if there's a case, if you want to calculate the interest earned, okay, for an investment or interest need to be paid for the loan, then you have to use the formula of PRT right? R is the interest rate offered by bank, and then T is the investment period. So make sure that this T is in years unit. So if the question is given the investment period in month unit, then you have to convert the month into year. Let's say 5 months. Okay. If that's the case, then T is equal to 5 divided by 12. T is equal to 5 divided by 12. Why? Because this T formula is in year unit. year unit. Then if you are asked to calculate the maturity value or future value, or we call it as the accumulated amount, and then is referred to S. Okay, S is the maturity value, future value, or accumulated amount. Okay? So we can use P plus I. This formula is additional one. Is a combination of first and second, then you can get this formula. So if you don't know how this formula, how to use it, is okay. Okay, you can apply this two in order to get the S. Not necessarily have to use this formula directly if you are not really familiar. So in order to get the S value, you can calculate the I using this, and then substitute the I value into here. Okay, I is equal to PRT, put here, and then plus the P, then you can get the S value. Okay. So sometimes you may be asked to calculate the effective rate of the simple interest. Effective rate means the annual rate of the simple interest rate. Then you can use this formula to help you. Okay. So bear in mind, this N is referred to number of payments of the interest. Okay, number of payments for the interest charge or of throughout the borrowing period or the investment period. Okay, the simple interest question can be applied to the installment purchase case. Okay, installment purchase usually is using the simple interest calculation. Installment purchase means the higher purchase. That means the customer can pay some deposit, okay, at the beginning of the installment purchase agreement, okay, and then in the future, the customer can pay periodic payment plus the interest in order to clear the debt of the installment purchase. Okay, so the technique to answer this type of question is you must know what is the deposit, okay, or the we call it as the deposit is the down payment that had to be paid by the customer. Okay, so once you know the deposit or down payment, immediately you must get the P value, principal. Immediately you get the P value first. So P value is using the selling price, the original selling price, minus the down payment. Get the P first. Why? Because this P, okay, is entitled for interest calculation. So very important because this P is going to influence what is the I value that had to be paid by the customer or the buyer. So the I calculation is based on this, using this formula, get the I. And S is equal to this or this, all right? And besides that, the S is also equal to the periodic installment multiplied with number of installments. Okay, so for installment purchase question, you can either use this formula to get the S, or you can use this formula. So depends on the information you have. Okay, and the higher purchase price, that means the overall, okay, price that need to be paid by the customer under this agreement is called as the higher purchase price. So it's using the S value plus the deposit. Okay, so S means the total future value that need to be paid by the customer plus the deposit that will be made by customer at the beginning of the installment purchase agreement. Okay. Okay, so if the interest calculation is able to help to compound, okay, to generate more interest again in the future, then this type of investment is using the compound interest calculation. Okay, in compound interest calculation. If there's a case, then there is no direct formula to get the I value. You cannot use this formula to get the I value for the compound interest. Why? Because for compound interest calculation, the interest earned from time to time can also help to generate interest in the following period. Okay, so there is no direct formula to get the I value. In order to get the I value, you need to calculate the S first using this formula. Calculate the S first. So S is equal to P, which is principal, multiplied 1 plus K. This is the annual rate. Okay, and then you have to divide it by the number of interest being compounded within a year. Okay, and the power T is in years unit, and then T means the investment period. Then multiply with M. So this M value is based on how does the interest being compounded. So if the interest is compound yearly, then M is equal to 1. So this one you need to remember. Okay, depends on the question. So M value is depends on the question, depends on how does the interest being compounded. Okay, so once you get the S value using this formula, okay, then you can use this formula to calculate the I lah, all right? So once you know the S value, then you can transpose the formula to get the I lah. I is equal to S minus P. Okay, so there is no direct formula for compound interest to get the I, remember. Okay, in order to make your job easy also, the formula for P, T, and K, you can get directly from the formula sheet. Okay, so this, in order to get the principal value, we can just transpose the formula from here. Okay, so P is equal to S divided by these whole things. Okay, then how about T? Because the T, you may find that the original T is an index number. So if there is a case, in order to get this T, you have to use the logarithm. You need to use logarithm in order to get the T value. Okay, using this formula. Okay, log. If you're asked to calculate the K value, K means the annual rate. This one, this is the annual rate. Okay, annual rate is also called as nominal rate. Depends on the how does the M, how does the interest being compounded. If the interest is compounded more than once a year, okay, like 2, 4, 12, 52, 26, 365, then this type of interest is called as nominal rate. Okay? If the interest is compounded only once a year, like this, M equal to 1, then this interest rate is called as effective rate. Okay. So how to get the nominal rate? Nominal rate, you can use this formula. Okay. Effective rate, you can use this formula, which is 1 plus the nominal rate divided by M, power M minus 1. So the usefulness of effective rate is used to compare two set of investment, to compare which one is more worth to invest. Okay. So if you want to do investment, then the higher the effective rate, the better lah for investor. The higher the effective rate, the more return for investor. Okay, but the higher the effective rate, the more cost occur for a borrower. So for a borrower, should choose lower effective rate. But for the investor, the one who want to earn more money, then should choose higher effective rate investment. Okay, so these are the things that you need to know for financial mathematics summary. So far, okay? Any questions on financial mathematics? Okay, okay, last one. Metrics. Metrics also already just done one summary for you. So generally, you need to know how to conduct the we call it some summation operation for two matrices. Okay, so let's say matrix C is equal to this elements and matrix D is equal to this. So if you want to sum up the matrix C and D, okay, so make sure that C and D must have similar order. Similar order, that means same row and same number of columns. Otherwise, we cannot sum out these two matrices together. Make sure that these two matrices must have similar order. Okay. So in this case, you can just sum up the element based on the location. Based on the location of each element, you can sum up. So this is the answer. So this 12 is using 10 plus 2, you get 12. Okay. For this is 20 plus 3, you get 3 lah. This one, this is the second row, first column, using 30 plus 0, you get 30. Okay, and etc. Okay, how about C minus D? Also the same. Okay, for this number, the first row, first column, answer is 10 minus 2, you get 8. Okay, second row, second column is 40 minus 5, you get minus negative 5. Remember, be careful. This is 40 minus negative 5, so I get 4 plus 5, so its answer is equal to 45. So for, I think, summation and the subtraction operation should be okay for all of you. Quite easy, straightforward. Okay, how about multiplication activities? For multiplication, also we need to check, make sure that the number of columns in the first matrix must be equal to number of rows of the second matrix. Okay. Otherwise, we cannot multiply these two matrices together. So for this question, because both matrices have the similar order. So we can multiply these two together. If similar order, sure, confirm, we can multiply. Okay. So the result, how about the result? The result should be also equal to the same order of matrix C or D. It should be 2 multiplied 2 order. Okay. So for 20, how to get this 20? 20 is using 10 multiplied 2 plus 20 multiplied 0. 10 multiplied 2 is 20 plus 20 multiplied 0 is 0. So it's 20 answer. Okay. You want me to show the workings or not? Do you know how to get 20? Okay, I think you can try if you got problem, then you can email me. All right, I just give you the final answer. You can try again, see whether you can get this answer or not. Okay, then lastly is the inverse matrix. So let's say we want to calculate the inverse of matrix D. Okay, inverse of matrix D. So how to get the answer? We have to use the formula of 1 divided by determinant of matrix D. How to get determinant of matrix D? You have to use this value, the A multiplied with D. A multiplied D is 2 multiplied negative 5. Minus B and multiplied with C minus 3 times C. B times C. So it's 3 multiplied 0. Here. Okay. So this whole part is this one is the determinant of matrix D. Determinant of matrix D. Okay, multiply with what? Multiply with, okay, for this matrix, you need to change the location of A and D. A and D, you need to change the location now. For this question, A is 2, D is negative 5. So we need to swap the location of these two elements. Okay, A and D swap the location. So now, negative 5 put here. Positive 2 put here. Okay. Then the next step is we need to change the sign for this B and this C. This B and C need to change the sign. Positive becomes negative number. Okay, negative becomes positive. So originally this is positive number, so we put a negative sign for this. This is B, and then this is 0. This is the C. Okay, so C we can put negative sign. Negative 0 is still 0. Negative 0 is still 0. So I put 0 here. Okay. Then lastly, we can bring in 1 over negative 10, which is the scalar value. The scalar value we can bring in, multiply in to each element. Okay. So for this element, we can use negative 5 multiply with negative 1 over 10. So I get positive 1 over 2. Okay, for this element, positive 1 over 2. So continue the same thing for other elements also, in order to get the final answer. Okay, so these are the things that you need to know for your final exam. Okay, all right, so I have about 30 minutes to go. So any question related to your final exam, final assessment? We okay. Meanwhile, we also already try to do revision for test 2. Test 2. Any question? We still have about 30 minutes. So today will be the last lesson. Will be the last online lesson. Then the remaining time, I just let you do your own revision. Okay. All right. So just now I checked the Canvas. I noticed quite a number of groups already submitted your assignment project 2. Already. Most of you already. Maybe can confirm. Let me go back to your assignment project 2. I think most of the groups already submitted. Okay, Singhu already submitted. Jen, Okay, and then Marvin, Edwin, Nelly, Dion, and this is Antia and Yojun. Okay, so these are the groups that already submitted your assignment. And the similarity index is either blue or green, so still okay. Okay, so I think some of the team members will submit. Yeah, some of the team members also submit after the leader submit. So it's still okay, acceptable. Okay. All right. Any other questions on project 2 or test 2 or final exam before we call a day? Okay, let me see any chats or questions from the chats. No question. Okay, Jubi, no question. Oh, okay, all right.
Sir,
Yes, yeah. And yeah.
the final assessment and the second test is both separate.
Yes, online test 2 will be conducted on Monday, right? Coming week Monday. Online test 2.
Then the final assessment is.
Final exam is on the 8th of December.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we have 2 different assessments. Online test 2 is coming Monday, 10 o'clock. That will cover, okay, for online test 2. Okay, online test 2 will cover chapter 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So these 3 chapters will be covered in your online test 2 on Monday. All right. And then your final assessment will cover all the chapters on the 8th of December. Online test 2, okay, if you want to know more detail, you should be able to go to, you can go to the unit outline. Let me go to Canvas again. I'll bring you to unit outline again. Okay, so your online test 2 I already, okay, it's on the 29 November, right? 10 to 11, 20%. Okay. And then the coverage of your online test 2 is for the learning outcomes of 6 to 9. That means it's chapter 3, 4, 5. Okay, chapter 3, 4, 5. So these are the overall assessment we have. We have only 4 assessments. Okay, test 1, test 2, fieldwork project, and also the online final assessment. There is no take-home exam. Okay, so how is the format of the online test 2? You can refer to the practice exercise 2. Okay, practice exercise 2. If you want to try again, for those who haven't tried, you can go to a few ways. You can choose online test 2. You can go to modules. Okay, so then online practice exercise 2 is here. Okay, so the format of practice exercise 2 is quite similar to all online test 2, and the coverage of the question also quite similar. But don't just focus on this. If you got time, you should also go through all the tutorial questions. Okay, these are the among the questions that may be asked. Okay, but you still have to try other tutorial questions. Okay. So you can try again. One more time. How about the question that I paused yesterday? A few questions that I shared, right? Yesterday. Plus the answer. I already put the answer as well yesterday. Should be under extra question here, I think. But I should also add the break-even question. Are you okay with all these questions? Question 1, okay? Round off this number into 3 significant figures. This question, okay? This okay, answer. So this is the first significant figure, is this one. 9 is the first significant figure. So 1 is the second. Right? So this 0 is the third significant figure. Okay. And so now you have to decide whether you want to round out or round down this third significant figure or not. Depends on the next digit. The neighbor on the right hand side is 6 greater than 5. So that means we need to round out this 0 by plus 1, add 1 to the third significant figure. Okay, 0 is the third significant figure, so we need to round up, becomes 1. Okay, 1. So its answer is equal to 0.0911. 0.0911. Okay. How about question 2? Question 2 is involve plus and minus activity of 2 fraction expression. Okay with this question? Do you know how to simplify this? Okay, just now already giving you one example as well. Okay. I only show you the answer, but workings. Do you want me to show you the workings? Okay, for question 2.
Yep, no problem, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So far, okay. Okay, good. Then question number 3. Question number 3 may find that is involve multiplication and division activity for the algebra expression, right? So that means we can just simply use the logarithm rule. It's not logarithm rule, the exponential rule to solve the problem. So we apply exponential rule when there is no plus and minus activity, only involve multiplication and division activity of the base number, and then you can apply the exponential rule to simplify this expression. This question, okay, question 3. Using exponential rule. Okay, question number 4. Okay, the problem now is you may find that the unknown variable is x, which is a power number. Okay, so in order to get the power number, you need to apply the logarithm rule. Okay, using the logarithm rule to get the answer. So how can you do is you can put log at both sides. Okay, put log on the left hand side of 3 and also put log on the left hand side of 7, so that the 2 plus 5x can be brought down as base number. Okay. Then transpose the formula to let the x as the subject. Then you can get the x value, which is equal to this number, negative 0.04 something, 4576. Okay. Then last question is to test understanding whether you know how to form a straight line equation. Okay. So in order to form the straight line equation, you must get the m, the gradient, followed by the c. Okay. C, if you are good enough, you know the c is equal to 4, right? C is 4. C means the intercept of the straight line equation that pass through the y-axis. So C is equal to 4, in fact. Okay. So once you know the C and M, then you can form or conclude the linear equation. So should be okay, like quite easy for most of you, Okay. So done. Okay. So I think I'll just let you do the revision by yourself. Okay. Any other questions before we call a day? Okay, let me see any other question from the chat. Aaron, okay, thank you, Aaron. Yeah, Cheng Yi and Junwei, yes. And Jacob also okay. Okay, yeah. All right. So if you got any problem, you just email me or just use the Microsoft Teams to ask me questions from time to time. All right. So yeah, all the best in your test 2 and also final exam. Bye bye. Sayonara. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
See
Have a good day.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
You too, Sam.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Thanks, Chang Yi. Clement. Okay, bye bye. I'll stop recording now. I'll pause the video on the canvas soon. Bye bye.